Welcome back to another episode of The Real Deal. I'm Nick.
I'm Sam.
I'm Naz.
And today we have a very special guest. We are honored to have Mauro Bucci, the broker of record for Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty Specialists here in Aurora. So Mauro, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having
Round
me.
of applause.
Thanks for having me.
It's
Long overdue, I think. Another
Yeah.
one. We've
Yeah.
been talking about this for a while.
We have been. Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
Oh, all kinds.
We got a lot of things in store, I think. But I guess to start off, Mauro, just I guess a little bit about yourself. Maybe how you got started in the industry. How you opened up your own brokerage here. Maybe a little bit of background where you're from.
So I was born and raised in Montreal, moved here in 2006, brought my wife and two little girls with me at the time. And, I decided to get into real estate. I used to work for Bell, which I'm sure is self-explanatory.
Big corporation.
Yeah, so I used to travel Quebec, Ontario, and every time I'd come here, I'd be amazed by all this real estate, and I used to see cranes everywhere, and back home it wasn't like that. I have a background in architecture, couldn't get a job there, so I figured, you know what, why not get into real estate? Looks like things are happening here, so I did make a move. It took a lot of courage.
Yep.
But yeah, so I started in 2006. Fast forward 18 years. I'm now a broker owner of my own brokerage here in
Huge.
Aurora.
Huge.
Fantastic.
That's massive.
And so we got a team going, and just look ahead and never look back and
That's
see
awesome.
where this
Yeah.
goes.
That's awesome. That's great. So you are, your home sold guaranteed. What I want to know is why your home sold guaranteed. Why not Remax? Why not Royal LePage? Why not anything else? Why your home sold?
So I was with Remax for pretty much a good part of my career, and then in 2019 I met a guy called Craig Proctor, and so Angie was like, "No, you gotta come and meet this guy," because she went to a half-day seminar with him, and she was totally impressed. And so I said, "Okay, let me try this." And it didn't take me too much time to realize that, you know what, there was a reason why he was the top real estate agent in the world. There was a reason why he used to sell 500 homes a year with no internet.
Crazy.
When
crazy,
when
yeah.
today, as you all know, it's all on the internet, and most realtors have a hard time doing 2 deals a year.
One
So-
deal a year.
Yeah, right. So I said, this guy's special, and I want to be surrounded by special people. And so, I started his coaching program. I, moved up into the coaching program, and then I was offered the opportunity to open up my own brokerage. Remax was great, but Your Home Sold is different. They stand behind their name. That's their promise. So Your Home Sold guaranteed, or we'll buy it.
Huge.
Huge,
I
yeah.
think what a lot of people don't realize is how big Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty actually is. Because how many brokerages, I guess, is there across North America, not only Canada? You were one of the first here in Canada.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is which is huge.
I think I was number 8
Wow.
in
Yeah.
Canada.
That's crazy.
I think there's, last I heard, there's about over 100 anyways.
That's huge.
That's awesome.
And how long since you opened up this office now?
February 2022, so a little over 2 years.
Awesome.
And just to touch on the office, like, it is beautiful.
Yeah, you
Like,
have
it
a
is so
great
nice in
space.
here. Like, it's so nice.
you guys have an opportunity to come check out this office.
Yeah, I would definitely
Yeah.
come check it
Incredible.
out, for sure. For sure.
Took a lot of sweat and tears to do this, but yeah.
You could tell, you could see the hard work that went into building something like this. And I think coming from a younger agent's perspective, seeing someone like yourself being able to build something like this is really inspiring. So
Yeah, I agree.
kudos to you for sure.
Thank you.
I think it's awesome.
So I think with that, a great question would be to ask is, what advice do you have for young realtors who are coming into the industry looking to kind of go about a similar path as you, to finally or one day own a brokerage and to run a brokerage?
So today, I feel like the biggest challenge, doesn't matter where you go, there's no more service.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, what made me successful was that, for me, the client was always first. It wasn't about the deal. It was always about the client. What do they need? And how am I going to deliver for them, right? So, and the reason why I joined your home sold was because that's what they do. They're
Client
different.
driven. Yeah.
We're different. We're not like your typical agent. We're disruptive. We do things differently. And that's what people want. You know, they're tired of hearing, "Oh, I'm the top agent. I'm number one." But it's, what are you going to do for me?
Yeah.
Like, and you need to stand out. You can't be like everyone else.
Yep.
I always tell people, it's not emails that sell homes, it's people. So you got to build a relationship with them. You got to understand what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And if you're going to make them a promise, then you got to stand by your promise, And I think that's what a lot of realtors these days lack, is that there's no commitment. They just say stuff, but they really don't do anything.
I think it's the lack of authenticity and integrity that realtors, I think they all come in thinking that they can follow one way of being a realtor when there's so many ways of being a realtor, right?
Yeah.
You have to be authentic, add that value that we were talking about before, right? I think this is a good way to segue into something that I know we want to talk about, which is how is the marketplace changing with the client-agent relationship, given what's happening in the news and things that we've seen recently.
What are you
just
seeing?
recently?
What are you seeing and what are you experiencing as well?
Just recently we've had some changes, right, to the rules and regulation. As of December last year, people can self-represent themselves. Whether or not they're going to want to do that, I don't think it's a good choice. However, they do have the opportunity if they want to. So that's the first major change.
Yep.
So, a buyer can say, "No, I'm self-representing myself." And, I think sellers that self-represented themselves, that was already there with for sale by owners.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now buyers can actually self-represent themselves. The newest and the hot news right now is what just happened in the States with the National Association of Realtors.
Yep.
They settled for $481 million, I believe it was.
Dishing out cash.
Yeah. 418 million or 481.
Yeah, it's a big number.
$481 million.
Yeah, it's a big number.
It's a huge number.
It's a huge number.
And, as of July of this year, sellers won't have to pay for the buyer agent portion if you want. So for the longest time, sellers, not only did they pay their listing agent, but they were also paying the portion of the cooperating agent.
Right.
That as of July is gone. So all these buyer agents that are out there that strictly focus with buyers, they're going to have a really hard time because it will change the market. It's just things are going to move rapidly. People, especially sellers, they voiced that they were tired of having to pay for, it's like going to court and having to pay for the person you're going after, you're paying for their lawyer, right? So it's the same thing here. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So today we go up to buyers and we tell them, I can do all of this for you and it doesn't cost you anything. Tomorrow, I think it'll end up in Canada as well, where we're going to have to sit with the buyer and we're going to have to explain to them that, this is what our fee is and this is what you're going to be responsible for. The seller is no longer paying for it. It's got to be the buyer. And in order for them to want to work with you, it'll be because of what you're able to deliver for them, right? Like if your stats show that you're a top negotiator and that you're able to save them X and, they see the value, the return on investment, then they'll deal with you, right? But just going there and saying, I'm nice and, I appreciate your referrals, I'm professional, like,
Doesn't work anymore. Everybody's
If you're
professional.
not
Everybody's
professional,
nice.
why are you in real estate?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Everybody's nice. Everybody's professional here.
I think it'll really help weed out all the weak agents that are.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
That only have their commission as a negotiating tool, right? That's the only thing they can do to get buyers or to get sellers. So I think it'll help in that regard because I think value will go a long way. I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time adjusting to the change in rules. I think it's going to be a real big adjustment.
I think it's something that's long overdue, even from an agent perspective. I don't know if it'll make things easier or harder, but I think it'll make it easier in a sense where we have how many active real estate agents just in Ontario alone, and we're competing with people. I can tell you my team has a lot better qualities than some other team.
I think it's like 70,000,
and the colleagues that I have.
80,000?
But
80,000 just in
80,000,
That's just in
right?
Treb.
That's nuts.
I think it'll should help in a sense where it weans out the people who
It'll definitely get rid of all the part-timers.
Yeah.
That for sure.
This
that's
shouldn't be a
gonna go.
part-time job, first of all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be part-time.
I agree.
And then it's just going to weed out all the other ones that,
That are soft.
Yeah.
All the softies.
People are
No
like,
thick skin.
Yeah.
their biggest purchase in life, and they're showing up with someone who's weak,
Who's a chooch?
right? Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where they're either going to have to adapt or they're going to have to get out, you know? And I think in the end, it'll make our lives simpler. Today, it's complicated because every time you're meeting with someone, you're having to justify what your fee is and why it's like that. And there's people going out there and they're pretty much trying to they're discounting themselves because that's all they have to offer. They have nothing else.
There's no value. They have
no
no value.
value.
Exactly. They got nothing to offer. At Your Home Sold Guaranteed, I'm gonna do a little plug.
Plug away,
For
buddy.
buyers,
Plug away.
right? Like they get the home warranty, they get a buyback guarantee.
So many incentives. Yeah.
And if you want to know more about it, just give me a call. Can I plug my number?
Well,
Plug it.
yeah.
Well, it's all. We're gonna include it all in here.
Well,
Yeah,
today's- This is
We'll have all
Mauro's.
your-
Yeah, call
yeah.
Mauro.
yeah. Call Mauro.
I love saying it. 416-998-9891. That's the number to
That's
call.
the number to
right?
call.
Yeah, that's it.
So, but yeah, like we're different. We offer off-market opportunities, which is huge.
Yes.
Today, a buyer can go on the internet and pretty much shop for anything,
See
including
everything
a house.
themselves.
And I think
Right.
with this self-represented situation and the way things are going, I think we'll see a lot more off-market properties because I think people are going to start to say, well, I'm going to try it myself first because I can. So I think we'll see a lot more off-market properties, which is just going to benefit us at the end of the day.
If you're a seller and you're going to try yourself,
I think a lot of sellers are going to try.
They were already there.
I
Yeah,
don't see
but I
that being
think
a
now
benefit. I think they're doing themselves a disgrace.
They are, but-
Yeah.
for sale by owners.
They
to be
are,
honest.
but
I
I
think
think
it's a
everybody
disgrace
thinks
for
that they
sure.
can do our job. I've never met somebody who doesn't think they can do our job better than us. Never.
No, but that's like when you buy a car, right?
Right.
You tell someone you bought a car, you're sitting at a table, all of a sudden there's 7 mechanics, everybody
Everyone's a
knows
car
that-
salesman,
everybody
yeah.
knows, it was the right
Right.
car to buy or
Yeah,
not.
I think it's
Right.
like most
So
industries.
true.
And I think
just
it's
the way it is,
well,
right?
it's sales in general. I think is like that, and I think now with a lot of self-represented buyers or the option to be a self-represented buyer, I think you will see a lot more for sale by owners that are going to try and attract buyers on their own first and see if it works.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, I think everybody thinks they can do a better job than we can until they try, and then they realize.
In
they
my experience, the for sale by owners, they're typically people that have sold a property in the past or purchased in the past.
with
Private.
bad
And
experience.
And because of the service that they receive,
Yeah.
they feel that they could probably do better.
right.
It's very
So
interesting.
well said,
Yeah, very
yep.
interesting note.
Well,
Yeah,
it's true.
You're
that's
so
what it
right
is.
about that.
I don't think anybody just wakes up one morning and says, "That's it. I'm going to sell my house and I can do it on my own." They
No, I think-
so they had
yeah.
a really bad experience, probably because they were serviced by a part-time agent
Mm-hmm.
who didn't know what they were doing, who overpromised, who
Under-delivered.
underdelivered.
Yep.
So that's what ends up happening, right? But if you go there and you're able to show them, listen, these are my stats. This is like, I didn't make these up. They come from the Toronto Real Estate Board. So my stats show that on average, the sellers that I deal with, this is a true stat, will make an additional 5% over the average realtor. So if I'm charging you 5, basically it's a wash. It's not
so
costing
true.
you anything.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
so true.
So you want to hire Mary, who's going to charge you X at a discount, only because that's all she could offer you, and then you're going to end up losing much more.
You get what you
than-
pay for.
You know what I mean?
You
Exactly.
do get what you pay for.
Yeah.
1000%.
You do get what you pay for.
Right.
That's
So
true.
these changes, I think they're just going to make, you're either going to become sharp, right, and
Mm-hmm.
strong, or you're going to get out. Which all the good realtors, that's what we want.
Yes.
We want all these people or individuals to just like get out, because right now they're interfering.
It's true.
And it's costing the sellers and the buyers thousands and thousands of dollars, right? And this is money that they've worked for all their life, and then unfortunately they got convinced by somebody only because of what they're gonna pay, but then it ends up costing them a lot more. You
Yeah.
know, so my thing is treat people right, do things the way you would want to be treated, and you're never gonna go wrong, right? So Yeah. I don't know
Beautiful.
if that makes sense.
No,
Yeah, no, well
No,
said.
tons
yeah.
of sense.
Well
It's
said,
really
well
well
said.
said. Very eloquent.
I think you kind of answered a lot of what we were going to ask just with that answer right there. But do you guys have any other?
Yeah, what's the future for your brokerage? Where do you see yourself going?
So we're young brokerage,
Yeah.
you know, although I've been doing this for 18 years, we're still young. Like new realtors, I'm a new broker of record. So, you know, you learn things along the way. But yeah, the goal is to grow this and grow the brand. And, you know, hopefully one day I can, you know, sit back a little while still working, but not as much as I am today.
Yeah.
And, you know, make the new generation take over and be a mentor for them.
Love that. Love that. So,
That's
with
awesome.
that being said, what are you looking for in an agent?
I'm looking for highly motivated and skilled individuals,
Love that.
you know, that wake up in the morning and want to make a difference. Not that wake up in the morning and want to do nothing and hope and pray that
The houses fall in their lap. Yeah.
someone's gonna. Give
I
me
like
a-
what you said before about the time thing. Like, you take an hour and a half to answer me. You take an hour and a half to answer
Yeah,
your clients. Like, that's not
Yeah,
good.
because I tell
agree.
them that, right?
Yeah.
I say, listen, if I text you and it takes you an hour and a half or
No,
2
that's a
hours
good way to
get
be
back
with your
me,
agents because it
that
holds
means
them
you're doing that to
accountable, right?
people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're willing to do that to me, imagine what you're willing to
Yeah,
do
so
to
I
the
just
people
had
you
a
don't know.
one-on-one. It was hilarious before this, and I basically told them, like, listen, when you joined here, you said you joined because you wanted to be held accountable. So this is what
What
I'm
it
doing
looks
to
like.
you.
That's what it looks
And
like.
every week you're gonna hear it if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, right? So
But that's how you breed success.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, if you want to be successful, you need to hold yourself accountable. Somebody does, at
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
That's why I
I
like
had an
Accountability is
amazing
huge.
mentor. I think
Yeah.
part of my success was because when I was with Remax, I had a great mentor. I have a great relationship with her till this day.
Mm-hmm.
Although I left Remax, like I have a lot of respect for her, and you know, it's important that you.
It is.
It is very
You know what I
important.
mean? And she was helping me every single week. You got to do this. You got to do
Yeah.
that. But if you just go in there and you're just a yes man or a yes lady, and you say yes, 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 you walk out and you do nothing, then
Yeah, I think
nothing's gonna come of it.
you to be successful in this business, I think a mentor is almost a must. To have somebody in your corner who can hold you accountable, show you the ropes, I think is like
Providing guidance,
Oh my
training.
God, if you want to be successful,
Yeah,
you
gotta
almost
work,
need it.
You got to work with someone who I'm not gonna say knows it all because nobody knows it all,
Yeah.
right? But like for example, in my experience, you know, last year a lot of realtors struggled, right? It was one of my best years. Why? Because throughout my career, I didn't strictly focus on residential. You know, I learned about commercial, I learned about industrial, and I learned about residential. So when the market was down last year on the residential side, well, guess what? Commercial was
shifted.
doing good.
Yeah.
So I was more into the commercial, right? So it's important that you hang out with people that, you know different things that you can learn from, you know? And don't just get stuck in this thing that, oh, that's it. That's all I do. Residential. I list properties.
It's environment, right? You
Yeah.
said that going back to what you said before, especially with your home sold guaranteed, you found the right environment for you. And I think it's all about being around the right people, creating the right environment that makes you successful. So hence your home sold guaranteed brand and the agents, the proof is in the pudding, right? It's who you hang around with, what you associate yourself with.
Your name is your promise.
That's right. That's right.
So before we get to our favorite question, before we get to that,
Yeah.
like you said, your whole brokerage is based on service. That's where you feel like the difference is, right? The value is based in the service. Obviously, we all know that. So when you say service and you're talking to a seller, what should they expect? Like, what is the difference maker? I know service, but service is such a general
Broad
term, right?
term,
Like,
yeah.
what are we really talking about at the end of the day? Is it their stats? Is it the promises that they deliver on? Is it putting it all in writing? Is it
I think it's everything. It's all of it. But service to me is being available and making yourself available. Making sure that if you said I'm going to be there today at 5:00, don't show up at 5. Show up at 4:45. Be on time.
Punctuality.
Yeah, it's so important. right? Because
So true.
You know, you show up late. That's it's
Not a good look.
professional.
Yeah.
You can't show up late in court. You know what I mean? Like, be a pro. Like, you know. And again, it goes back to like treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Your time is important. It's something that you can never get back.
Yeah.
So, and why are they going to work with you? They're going to work with you because not only do you offer all these different things that most realtors don't, but you know what? Your word is your promise, right? Like, to me, your word is worth more than anything,
Yeah.
right? So it's a verbal contract. So if I tell you every week you're going to get feedback on these showings, you're going to get feedback
on the
every
showings.
week. And if I tell you it'll be on Monday, then on Monday you could expect a call. It won't be on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday because I got busy and I forgot, and because it's not fair to that seller because they need to know what's going on. But it doesn't matter, seller or buyer, at the end of the day, is make sure you stand behind what you say and deliver. And if you do that, then, you know, 90% of my business is repeat and referral business. Anybody that goes and look at my reviews, they'll see there's people there saying we did 5 deals, we did 10 deals, we did, you know, and there's a reason for that, right? So I never you know, maybe if it's the first time I meet them, we'll talk about fees or whatever. But, you know, 18 years later, my client base, we never talk about like that because they know what they're getting.
Yeah.
Right? They see the value.
It's irrelevant.
It's not important to them.
It's
they
you.
know
It's you. They
the
want
job's
to
gonna get
work
done.
with. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me the real deal.
It's
Yeah. Okay.
Dan, he beat us to the question.
You got us.
But I think it's well, that speaks to like anything, right? Like even all luxury items. Like you might go to, for people who buy cars, you might go to Toyota and try and negotiate the price a little bit. You might try and get this down and this down. But people who are going to buy Rolls Royces, they don't negotiate on the price. They know what they're getting. They know they're getting the best of the best. They know they go in, they buy, and they leave, and that's it. And it's kind of the same thing, right? When you know exactly what you're getting, there's no reason to negotiate. There's no reason to differ.
I feel like your attitude and your quality attracts your market, right? Like if you're going to buy a luxury car, you're going to work with a top realtor, you're obviously going to attract those people who don't care to spend the money or don't care about the price because they know the value. They know what they're buying, right? Like if I'm going to buy a Birkin bag, I'm going to buy a Birkin bag, right? Like I'm going to use a top realtor.
But the biggest mistake you're going to do is make it about your commission.
Yes.
You know? It's not.
It's not about that.
No,
that
it's
should
not.
be the last thing, right? I always tell people, you know what? At the end of the day, I've never lost a deal because of commission.
You mean,
So you just gotta make sure you got a good discovery. Make sure you understand what it is exactly that they want, or what they're looking for. Explain to them exactly what to expect, and if all of that turns out the way you said,
you're moving.
that's it, man. You're getting referrals from these people. You're getting repeat business, and
This goes back to like what you mentioned about reviews and basically your reputation. It takes one bad thing that you do that ruins your whole reputation
everything.
that
People
you
never
built
remember
for
the
years.
good, but they
always remember the bad.
right?
Yeah.
Always.
Crazy.
well, when you go buy something, they look at your credit,
Yes.
right? That's how they could establish whether or not
You're
You're
worth
worthy.
it.
Yeah.
But my dad used to tell me, after credit, it's your name. Like that's it.
I like that.
After credit, it's your name.
That's huge. I like that.
So if your name is worth nothing, then
You got nothing.
you got nothing. You're a nobody, right?
I like that.
So
I like that.
stand
Powerful
behind your
way.
name.
Powerful way to wrap this one up.
Stand behind
Wow.
your name.
Yeah.
That's huge. Well, we were gonna ask you what makes you the real deal,
Yeah.
How
But
many times do you want me
but
to
you
say?
kind of
I think you've summed it up.
you kind of
Very well.
beat us to
I think
it.
you said it and you definitely prove
You
it.
beat
So
you beat us to it, and you definitely prove it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, numbers don't lie, as we like to say. Right?
Yeah.
Stats don't lie. But we really appreciate you being
Come by
on.
anytime.
yeah,
Absolutely.
This was
In the
great.
area.
Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for your time.
All right. Thanks.
We
We
appreciate
really
it.
appreciate it for everyone. Mauro's information will be
All be in the bottom.
listed. Mauro is a great industry leader, and
Yes.
I know our team leader and our team and his team. We do a lot of things together, and we appreciate you coming on and taking the time
And
to
showing us
talk
your
to
beautiful office.
Thank
We
you.
also
Thank
That
you.
too.
Thank you.
And with that, I think that's the real deal.
It's a real deal.
Thanks for joining us.